All right, Pharaoh, how's it going?
All is well. All is well. You feel me? I'm all right.
That's
You?
what's up. I'm good, man. Well, I've been hearing a lot about you, but I just thought we would kind of take it back and start from the beginning with you and, see what it was like for you growing up, man, and where'd you grow up at?
Uh, I'm from Palmdale, California, North LA County. Uh, just the middle of nowhere. Dirt bikes and rock fights. You feel me? Like, not too much about it. Um, I grew up a regular kid for the most part, but it was a little difficult for me because I was a half-breed out there and I wasn't black enough for the blacks that was from LA and I wasn't white enough for the whites that was from Palmdale, Lancaster. So it was kind of rough for me. You feel me? It was really rough. Made me combative. So, yeah.
Okay, so you was getting in trouble early.
Uh, yeah. I guess you could say that, yeah. I didn't really come from a bad family or nothing like that. My father was a doctor. My mom a computer technologist. They did their thing for me. But I'm the last of 8 siblings. I got 6 sisters, you know what I mean? And I was just a spoiled little boy for the most part. But I got into gangs and drugs and all kind of bull. You know what I mean? It's the typical youngster. But yeah, I started kind of young though. You know what I mean? Doing knock knock burglaries. You ever hear of that?
Knock knock burglaries. Oh, well, let me know what it is for the people who are watching.
When I was young, I used to ride my bike down the street, and if I seen like an elk head on the living room wall or something like that, I would knock on the door, and if they didn't answer, I would get up in there and I would take whatever it is I wanted. You know what I mean? And at that time, I was really into guns. I was really into guns.
How old were you when you robbed your first house?
12.
Okay, 12
12.
years old. So, what made you want to rob homes at 12 years old? If you have a good family and
Mhm.
they're taking care of you and everything, you seem like you were in a good area.
Uh, yeah, honestly, I was being picked on. You know what I mean? I wanted weapons at that
Okay.
time because I was a little dude.
You were being picked on.
I was being picked on. You know what I mean? Like I said, I wasn't exactly considered to be a black because I wasn't from Compton or South Central or Watts. You know what I mean? I was from Palmdale. You know what I mean? So I wasn't considered to be black to the blacks that was moving out there. And all the whites that I grew up with, by the time I got into junior high, most of them were skinheads and Nazis. And Palmdale, Lancaster had the highest racial crime rate for years, and they was not playing. They still don't play. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I kind of just wanted to defend myself.
Okay, so are you mixed? So you're
I am. I'm Creole.
okay. What's that? I mean,
Creole is, from Louisiana, basically black, white, and Native American.
black,
So,
white, Native American. Okay.
mhm, mhm.
So people didn't. So everybody was mad at you. People didn't really. That's crazy. It was not like
Well,
that. I can't imagine some kid getting picked on while I was growing up over that.
oh man, yeah. Well, I mean, it's different areas. It produces different tribes of people. You know what I mean? And that's just what it was for me. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't grow up in a bad area, but sometimes it's not the area, it's the people. You know what I mean? The belief system was a little bit different in the desert. You know what I mean? Them Nazis wasn't playing. Them skinheads was not playing. You know
That's crazy, bro. Because I never met a skinhead. So
what?
like,
Really?
I got
Oh,
that. I grew up with like no skinheads,
oh
bro.
man.
Like, I'm like, damn, this is. I didn't even know there was still a lot of skinheads or any in California. That's crazy.
Well, I mean, racism will always exist for the most part. It's always has and it always will. But that's their belief. That's their tribal belief. And I used to hate it, but I understand it now. I don't. It doesn't bother me. You know what I mean? That's how they were raised, and hey, to each
Mm.
his own, I guess.
Okay, so you're growing up, you're robbing houses,
Hmm.
and what's the first house like? What do you think in the first? Take me through that first robbery.
Uh, well, honestly,
Were you
eh,
nervous?
Hell yeah. I was nervous. But the situation was really more so. It was like basically one day I was shooting BB guns in the front yard, and this little boy that stayed down the street, he must have been like 5 or 6 years old, and dude was he wanted to shoot my BB gun, and I wouldn't let him. So and he told me, well, my daddy has a lot of guns, and I was like, oh yeah, and the conversation went from there. And then he told me he was going to the fair that day, and when he left, I got up in there, and I took all his dad's guns, and yeah, for a 12-year-old to have possession of 12 or 13 real weapons, that was huge. That was a big deal. It was a big deal. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much how it was.
Did you ever get caught for this?
Hell yeah, hell yeah. When you're a kid, you got real guns. Other kids tell. You know what I mean? And man, they came to my school and wrapped me up at school. So it kind of made me popular, and that was my first taste of negative popularity, and I liked it. You know what I mean? Sometimes bad attention is better than no attention.
How'd you get? I mean, do you know who snitched on you?
I do. It was a kid named Billy. Billy was one of the dudes that did the burglary with me, but he was flashing his at school, and the teacher caught wind of it, and he didn't even get caught with his. He left it at home the next day or whatever, however the situation happened when they went to confront him, and he told him that I had all the guns. And yeah, I went down for that. You know what I mean? My mom was pissed. She was pissed. You know what I mean? But I don't think she was really surprised. You know what I mean? I don't think she was surprised at all.
How long did you have all the guns before you got caught?
Maybe about 4 months.
That long?
Man, yeah.
You got away with it for a while. Okay.
I did, and my mom used to see them, and she just thought they were BB guns, and she hated them. She hated them. But that's more so from her personal experience, because my father, he shot my mom in the face before I was born. And yeah, man, tried to blow her head off. And I guess he was so influential or dashing, debonair, whatever he was able to get out of jail and get back with my mom. And they had me.
So when your dad shot your mom in the face
Mm-hmm.
before you were born,
Mm-hmm.
he ended up going to jail for it.
Mm-hmm.
Did he get convicted, or did he talk his way out of it?
Well, he was a chiropractor from Lakeview Terrace. He was a well-to-do. He had money. You know what I mean? And he was handsome. I look a lot like this dude. So, he had everything: charisma, money, intelligence, status, and however it worked out, they let him out.
And he gets back with your mom. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Got back with me, and when I found that out, I was like, oh, because it didn't really come out like that until he died. When I was 8 years old, he died, and that's when my mom felt safe enough to talk about these things. And I was hot. I was mad. It was really one of them type of situations where, because he was a doctor, he was very popular. You know what I mean? Renowned, whatever. When he died, everybody was crying for this nigga. But I was trying to figure out how I can get up in the casket to bite him on the face. I hated him. You know what I mean? And yeah, so my mom hated guns because of that, but I was just determined to have them. You know what I mean? And I thought that they would make me powerful or give me some type of chance. You feel me? Like, it made me think something that it just wasn't true. You know what I mean? So.
Okay, now you do this, and how do you go to jail, or do they just give you a slap on the wrist?
It was a slap on the wrist. My mom had to pay restitution. You feel me? She had to give some of the guns back because I was giving them to individuals selling them for a little bullshit. You know what I mean? But mostly I was just playing with them. And then after that, it was on, because I knew where my mistake was as I took somebody with me. You know what I mean? So I started doing it by myself. You know what I mean? And I stopped keeping them at home. I would just put it in a little cooler and bury it somewhere in the desert type. You know what I mean? So that's where.
So you just started stacking guns that you were stealing from houses.
At that time, yeah. Because I was worried. I was worried. You know what I mean? And man, this basically what made me do that was I used to do like a lot of dirt jumps. What I was into Mongoose Pro Series, dirt jumps. And I got caught slipping one day coming home from school, and a group of skins jumped me and took my bike, and they whooped me with wallet chains and took my bike, man. I had mowed lawns for like a whole summer to get this bike. It was beautiful, like it was fly. And one of the individuals that whooped me with the chain, man, he was somebody I grew up with. Like he was my best friend, man. Like, and I couldn't believe it. You know what I mean? To be called a monkey, and man, I know where you live. We didn't play mud ball fights and trampoline and pizza and all that bull. You feel me? Like kids. And he didn't tell him to stop. You know what I mean? He didn't vouch for me. He didn't tell him not to. That me up. You know what I mean? And it's different when you're being hated for being born a certain way, you know what I mean? And it just, I couldn't see myself ever experiencing that anymore. So I started trying to prep to defend myself. And every individual that was around my neighborhood, I started speaking to them about it. And, I was able to unite both Bloods, Crips, Hoovers, neighborhoods, whatever, all underneath one banner, one flag, because you black before you red or blue. And it worked. It worked too well, too well. Basically, in a nutshell, man, I didn't know. It was just a click to me. And now these little dudes is all over, all in Vegas and Texas. And man, I love my homies, but I don't like how they move and how they operate. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want nobody to harm another group of individuals. You know what I mean? If you're supposed to be about your blackness, then you shouldn't be so focused on hurting other black people. You know what I'm saying? Just didn't make no sense. I didn't know what I was doing. Something I started to protect my people turned out to be one of the worst things for my people. And I wish I had a time machine, man. I would have definitely wouldn't have done that. You know what I mean? But hey, you live and you learn. You live and you learn. Straight up.
Okay, so you start this clique that eventually evolves into a gang.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And now are you still robbing houses? How many guns were you able to, like, what was your biggest score that you had robbing houses?
Well, it wasn't even so much about a score, because once I started uniting everyone, I started teaching them, and then, the power got bigger and bigger, you know what I mean? And it made me very popular, I wouldn't say I had one particular score. It was more so of how many I can get from everybody within a week. And I would just pass them out, and I was teaching them how to shoot in my room. And man, we were practicing, and they got good too. And a lot of them are doing some serious time. And I really regret that too, for real. But yeah.
Okay, so at what point do you get arrested for something serious?
Oh, okay. Well, so when I was about 17, I had little skirmishes here and there. I used to steal Honda Accords. But when I was 17, a group of serious gang members came from the Los Angeles area. And they caught me at a football game and didn't like what I had on. You know what I mean? I had red on, they had blue. So you know how that goes. And they didn't know that I was, the founder of something that, united red and blue. And they tried to jump me at a football game. And these was grown men, they was killers, you know what I mean? Like real killers. And the only thing that saved me was I was there with all my friends. And it was kind of like ants on a grasshopper. And we whooped it was 4 grown men, but it was like 30 or 40 of us. And we mauled them for a long time. They couldn't even get to them. Like we celebrated that. And I thought I was invincible, you know what I mean? And the next day, they caught me at a party and man, tried to jump me again. And I was by myself and I shot one of them in the and I went to jail. I was 17 when I hit the pen the first time. Solidad was my first prison, and it was cracking. It was a huge reality check for a kid like me. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't no more play. You know what I mean? And yeah.
Okay, so you guys get into it at this party with these Crip dudes, and you end up shooting one of them. Now, how much time were they originally offering you?
Well, when you shoot someone, of course, they always start with a life sentence. You know what I mean? Because they consider it attempted murder. But because I shot him in the and it wasn't in his torso, and I wound up getting assault with a deadly. So I got 4 years with half. So I did 2 years.
No, that's not bad for shooting somebody.
Man, well, I mean, I wasn't trying, and I'm a great shot. I wasn't trying to kill the man. I just wanted to get him up off me. You know what I mean? And honestly, I was just scared. I was scared. And I came home 2 years later, and I was really feeling myself because now the hood that really just, man.
What was prison like? You said you were in Solidad.
Prison was wild, man. Solidad is like a giant project. And it's no joke. But that's where I, decided I want to be a fighter from the shoulders because I was on the yard with an ex-heavyweight champion of the world. And he was cool.
Who's that?
His name is L Train. He's a Crip from, the beach area, you know what I mean? But I had this dude on my video game. And one day I was seeing him in the chow line. I was like, man, why everybody call you champ, man? You do look like this motherfucker on my video game. And he was like, which one, Knockout Kings? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, man, that's me, man. I'm L Train. I was like, man, hell no, for real, let me see your ID. He showed me his ID. It was really him. And I just started bugging him to teach me how to box. And he did. He did. Hooked me up with a manager and a trainer and all that. And I pursued it a little bit. I never went pro, but I was definitely good at it. I could have been pro.
So how did you train when you were in jail?
Well, that's the thing about it is Solidad, Folsom, these prisons are historical and they have boxing rings back then. You know what I mean? They like literally on the yard. And you train like any other fighter, but the thing about it is being locked up, you have nothing but time to train. So there's no, of course we have alcohol, weed, drugs, whatever, whatnot, you know what I mean? Unless you're doing some weird, doing some gay stuff. You know what I mean? Ain't no women to have sex with or whatever, whatnot, you know what I mean? So you like preserve, that's why dudes were swole. Like the average dude had 20-inch arms back then. Like they was monsters. And man, we just trained all the time. And it was like an everyday thing for some years. And I got good at that too. You know what I mean? Got good at that too.
Okay, so you started learning how to box. Now, do you get in any fights? Like, when is your first real serious fight?
Well, the thing about it is, in there is political, but back then it was hard to be a blood. It wasn't like how it is now. It wasn't very popular. You know what I'm saying? Like it was 10-1. But
so wait, what do you mean it was hard to be a blood? So did you guys rolled with the Bloods?
Well,
because you're Black Rag, right?
My influence comes from Pacoima. So
okay.
my sister's boyfriends were my influence because my father was gone. And they were from Pacoima, Pharaoh. So I grew up emulating them. And you know, if they would have been Crips, I would have more than likely wanted to be a Crip. You know what I'm saying? But it's, you know, the thing about my particular clique that turned into a hood is the fact that I could unite each one of these oppositions by explaining to them that you are black before you're red or blue, and these white boys don't give a damn. And it made sense. And how I was hyping it was, at nighttime I would go and spray paint swastikas and on their garages and on their windows, and then in the morning I would act like, oh, they did what? What? Oh, hell no. And I was fanning the flames. And I thought that I was doing something good, you know what I mean? Like, I thought that I was doing something fly for my people, like, you know, like, okay, we're gonna get back at them. But my mom looks like a real white woman. And it took me years for me to figure out that I am part white. And I love being who I am, you know what I mean? I don't hate, you know what I mean? Like, I grew up. But yeah, my tribe was red team, you know what I mean? But there are other individuals that fell up underneath the black rag that was blue team or orange team or wherever they tribe was, you know what I mean? And yeah, so that's what that was. And at that time, being a blood in prison, it was hard because we was outnumbered, and I couldn't explain to everybody like, hey, I don't got no problem with the Crips. I'm mad at these skinheads though, but you know, I was young, you know what I mean? I was young and dumb. So, yeah, you know what I mean? It was one of them type of situations where I fell up underneath that, and I was always raising my hand to be that guy to do what's called a removal. I was like a torpedo, a pit bull. And I was the guy that always raised my hand because I was insecure about being from Palmdale. I wanted them to know, like, I'm not playing about where I'm from. Like, I'm with this because they didn't believe me. They didn't believe me, you know what I mean? And I wanted to show them through action, and I was always scared, and that's why I never lost. I never lost. And I got good at it now. I started hunting bullies, and I got real good at it, real good at it. But you live and you learn, you know?
Okay, now your first fight. How did your first fight go?
Well, my first fight, it was a group thing, because, you know,
Right?
it was, and, you know, when you 19 years old and you got 30 dudes coming at you with knives, you know what I mean? And it's, you know, it doesn't matter about how many homies you got, you know what I mean? And the opposition, a different race, man, these dudes just, they were like calculating in how they attack, and man, they would send waves. And you'll fight one wave, and they'll lay the yard down, pop a couple of shots, and then they'll jump right back up, and then a second wave will come. And then you gotta fight two waves, you know what I'm saying? And then they'll pop a couple of shots, everybody lay down, and then they'll jump right back up, and now they got a third wave, and they're all fresh. And that's what made me start training, you know, to combat, like hand to hand, because there ain't no guns in here, and I wasn't with that all that stabbing somebody. I never wanted to stab nobody. I never really wanted to kill nobody. I've always been a fighter, you know what I mean? Even though I was stockpiling guns when I was a kid, I never wanted to kill nobody. I just didn't want nobody to kill me, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, yeah.
For sure. Okay, so your first fight is a riot. Did you get stabbed?
I did, man. Got me in the neck, man. It was a purple Tech toothbrush. And yeah, scared the shit out of me, man. Yeah, scared the shit out of me. I remember pulling it out, and I was like, oh my. It was a very, very scary experience, because I had to still get up and still fight. I still had to fight. You know what I mean? You ain't have time to be like, oh, look at it. And, you know, you got to still get cracking because they still coming. You know what I mean? And that's just how it is.
Do you remember what this riot started over?
Uh, Honestly, no. But sometimes it's just one group doesn't like another group, and they don't explain everything to everybody. It's just like when all your people get cracking, you got to get cracking. You ain't got time to. You might find out what it is later on, but sometimes you don't. And I didn't. I didn't know. I still don't know. But when you fighting against somebody who you perceive as your enemy, and they're stabbing you because you're a certain color, it doesn't matter to you. In the end, you develop a hate for that group, and it becomes second nature. You know what I mean? Second nature.
Was that your only time getting stabbed in prison?
Yeah, it was because I embraced my fear. Basically, anytime I had a combative issue with someone, if they even balled their fist or any type of aggressive body language, or the octave or the facial expression became aggressive, I would just attack. And that was how I preserved myself. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
what was the fight that you got in? Did you ever have to have any one-on-one fights?
All the time. All the time. Most fights in prison are over basketball games, or pinochle or sports betting, like that, chess games. So I used to play games. I was pretty good at them too, but yeah, I had a few that were like that. And every time you have a fight with someone, you got to be aware of where his homies is at, and you know what I mean. Like, this dude might have a knife on him or any.
Can you take me through the fight? Can you take me through one-on-one?
Well, there was so many of them. You know what I mean? The first time I ever really knocked somebody out, this dude was from Sacramento, and we were playing basketball, and I have no offense, no offense at all, but I know how to get in the way. I'm very defensive, and he didn't like it. They call it hacking. You know what I mean? But I was just really good at getting in the way, and he got up on me, and even though he was from my tribe, from my card, he was a big boy, and he had a reputation. So I hit him, and I hit him first, and he went down. And yeah, so it was one of them type of things where it was like, okay, I'm gonna always hit first. That's what I decided. I'm gonna hit first, and I just swim on them. And somebody gonna drown. It ain't gonna be me. You know what I mean? But I always looked at it like, man, I'm gonna bend his mustache before he bend mine. You know what I mean? Spin his beak like Daffy Duck. But honestly, it was always because I had fear. My fear preserved me, because all men have fear. It's just what you do with it. Cowards run. People who are brave just run towards it, and they don't run from it. So I just embraced my fear, because I was scared every time. You know what I mean? So that's just me keeping it 100.
So what's the worst thing you had to go through when being in prison?
Well, I guess you could say it was more so that I had to do 12 years, man, for some shit I didn't do. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
so you did the 2 years.
2 years,
You get out. How long are you out for?
8 months.
8 months. Okay.
Mhm.
And you catch another case.
I did. So those dudes who I shot one of them in. They caught up to me years later, and I had a homie named King Tut, and I was flossing, feeling myself. I had a girlfriend that I grew up with. She became a very famous actress, and I was selling drugs. I had a nice little car. I was feeling myself. My hood is. I felt like I had my own army. I was making money. I was popular. You know what I mean? And these dudes caught up to me at a party, and got with my program. Basically, identified me, and I was feeling myself, because I was like, yeah, in my mind, it's gonna happen just like it happened before. You know what I mean? And it didn't. And they tried to gun me down, man, and they hit my young homie all in his chest and in his hand and his face, and they got on, and I was CPR certified too, man, and I pulled him in the back of my car, and as soon as I got ready to leave, man, the police pulled up behind me, man, and blocked me in and detained me, putting me in the back of that car, and then they pulled him out, and he was begging me to help him, and he died right there in my face, and it was because of something that I had done years before when I was a kid. And these dudes came back and they hollered, and they killed a couple of Bloods. Every Blood that they ever got into it with out there, they knocked them down. They had bodies. I was just the one that got away because I was scared and I used to get off first. But this particular time, they tried to knock me down and they wound up hitting my young homie, and that's why I changed my name. I used to be Hurricane. But when that happened, I changed my name to Pharaoh. And,
okay, so what happens at this party? Are these Crip dudes?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're at the party. These Crip dudes you guys don't get along with.
I don't get along with them. Well, I just didn't get along with this particular. It wasn't that I had a problem with Crips, because I ain't never jumped out on it for wearing blue. You know what I mean? Like, it was just that I was a Blood, because being a Blood, you know, the original meaning of Blood and Crip is to be debated. But Blood means Black Liberated Organization Over Discrimination. Crip means Colored Revolutionary Independent Party. They're both baby Black Panthers. Both groups that were started to defend Black people from white oppression. And they became combative towards each other, and it just went up. It went up. So I was pushing under that pretext in my mind. You know what I mean? I was trying to be like a baby Huey Newton, baby Black Panther, but it's hard to explain that to people when you got on a color they don't like. So they get with your program. But basically, they came back and hollered as a gangster should, according to the rules of the street. And the homie got knocked down because of it. And
so they roll up, and then what do they approach you? What do they say to you?
They banged on me and pretty much was like, ain't you Hurricane? And I'm like, yeah. And I was feeling myself. I'm like, yeah, that's me, yeah. And, you know, I had my little weapon. The homies had their weapons or whatever. So, you know, I'm feeling it. I'm like, man, we can get you if we want to. We was deeper. But these is older dudes. These dudes was like experienced combat. Like, man, they was G's. And so they played off like, oh, okay, no, that's good. Well, and then they disappeared, and then they left. And we thinking, yeah, they busters, they marks. Like, yeah, well, man, them dudes came back and started busting. And we all ran, you know what I mean? Because when shots fired, man, the first thing you do is get somewhere or clutch and pop back. But man, we all scattered. And when I was running back to my car after the smoke cleared, the homie's feet was sticking out of the car, and I picked him up and put him in the back of my car and got trapped right there, and the cops caught me. And when he died, I felt so much guilt. I still feel so much guilt. And you know, I had to go to his mom's house, and I told her, like, I'm gonna take care of everything. Everything. I'm gonna take care of everything. But I didn't know, I was 20 years old. I didn't know funerals cost 15, 20,000. You know what I mean? In my mind, I'm thinking I'm a baller. Man. And it was the summertime, and I told his family that I was going to pay for everything. And they thought that I was financially capable of it, and I just wasn't. And by the time we did get him in the ground, it was like 3 weeks later, and he was bloated and he was stinking, and it was so terrible. You know what I mean? Like, it broke my heart.
Let me rewind though. Okay, so he gets shot. They take him to so he passes away right there. And so what are what's going on? Is there chaos at the scene? Like, what are you thinking? When this happens.
I was thinking, I was just thinking to get away initially. But then after everybody left, I was thinking I need to get back to my new car. I gotta get my car, because I'm all right. It didn't dawn on me that somebody actually got hit. You know what I mean? And that's when I found the homie, and, went from there. So I was thinking just get away, and that was it. I wasn't thinking about revenge. I wasn't thinking about what I did before to make them do that. I wasn't thinking about none of that. I was thinking about, man, I got away. Let me get back to my car. And then that's when I found the homie. And when he died, because something I did years prior to that caused these dudes to, get cracking on us. I took responsibility for it, and I didn't do no telling, you know what I'm saying? So I handled my business as far as what I thought I should do for his family, and I couldn't bury him in time. And it was the summertime, like hot, and he bloated, and we had to bury him in the FUBU shirt. You know what I mean? And that broke my heart. And after that, I started smoking Sherm because I just wanted to feel anything other than the reality of the guilt that was crushing my heart. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't never smoked Sherm before, and I wound up wigging out and high-speed chase, crashed into a wiener schnitzel, embarrassed out my whole family. You know what I mean? Front page of the news, tasers, and they was calling me a little Superman. You know what I mean? Like it made me and my hood even more popular. And I went to jail for 8 years on that one. Even though I didn't hurt nobody, I just ran from the cops. And it turns out if you run around a cop, if you drive around a cop, even if you don't scratch the car, that's assault because you just went around them. So that's like if somebody points a gun at you, that's assault, even if they don't shoot you. So, yeah, I did 8 years for that. And
okay, so now you mentioned you did 8 years. Okay, what happened with that?
Basically, I went nuts smoking Sherm and had a high-speed chase and went to jail. You know what I mean? For 8 years.
High-speed chase, 8 years. Now you're back in prison. What's it like for you this time? Now you kind of got a drug habit though.
Well, PCP is it's an anesthetic. It's not like something you have to have like heroin or crystal or cocaine. It's different. It makes you powerful. You know what I mean? That's why you can pick up cars and break handcuffs. It wasn't like a habit. It was just something I was doing because I wanted to be brave enough to get with these dudes in the way that they got with my little homie. Because even though I was a really good shot and I was a gangster and all this other, I didn't have a killer instinct like that. You know what I mean? So, and I just didn't want to be sad about what had transpired. You feel me? So I didn't really have a drug habit per se, but when I went to prison on that one, they considered me basically to be insane. I had a damn near a naked car chase and crashed into a wiener schnitzel. And, they couldn't really stop me. It took like eight officers to get me in. I was a little 20-year-old kid and they couldn't stop me. You know what I mean? And they were calling me a little Superman in the paper. You know what I mean? You can do some amazing off that you can't do when you're not high. But they gave me psych meds and I actually kind of got fat. I low-key got fat. Because when you sleep and eat, you get fat. And I around and I got real fat. And what made me start working out again was a dude named Rafiq. Rafiq was a Muslim, and I respected him. And he pretty much convinced me, like, man, don't take that shit no more, man. You strong enough to do that, man. Like, if you really are this intelligent motherfucker you think you are, you can get up off that shit. And I started working out again and came to the reality that, man, I really, I didn't know what was going on in the world. You feel me? Like, I had a daughter, and man, she resented the shit out of me. She still does, and I get it. You know, I've been gone her whole life, but I was gangbanging. I was young and dumb, man. And even though I had fear and that's what preserved me, I honestly didn't think that I was gonna live to be this old. So I was kind of suicidal with that I was doing because I was on like, I'm gonna die anyway. Might as well go out with a bang. You know what I mean? And I kind of lived my life like that at that time. You know what I mean? So.
Okay, so you do this 8 years. What's this 8 years like now? Do you ever go to the hole? Do you ever hit the shoe?
Yeah, hell yeah, all the time. all the time because, like I said, I became a torpedo. You know what I mean? My first term, I was just a kid. You know what I mean? Then the second term, I kind of got fat, and then halfway through my term, I got in really good shape, and I wanted to keep that. I wanted to keep that going, and I started taking my training more seriously, and I f***ed around and took a correspondence course to become a fitness trainer, and I did my, and man, I got swole. I swole like, man, I had dubs, man. I was a monster. But it turns out that the bigger you are, man, the more oxygen it takes to fight. So you get winded, and I found that out the hard way. But yeah, so it's not even about being
What do you
small.
mean you found it out the hard way?
Uh, uh, it was a little bitty that I just couldn't catch him. You know what I mean? It was kind of like I'll hit him with all my might, and he would just back up, and he'd come back in and sting me and sting me and sting me, and he was bouncing everywhere. I couldn't catch this man, and I was winded. And the only reason I won the fight is because I finally got a hold of his shirt, and then I got him on the ground, and that's where I could get with him right there. But I was so tired, man. Man, I damn near had a heat stroke with this dude, man. Like, so I looked at it differently because, I was fighting a lot of big dudes in there, you know what I mean? And I was whooping they, you know what I mean? But that was more so because I was practicing every day. I was practicing all the time, like every day. And yeah, so I stopped trying to be so swole, and started focusing more on being fast and accurate, you know what I mean? My technique, and you know what I mean? Because when it go down, you don't have no time to like square off or referee. You got maybe 10, 15 seconds before they come spray you. Unless it's a huge riot, then that's a different story. But when you fight man to man, you got to put him down quick. And you got to put him down before his homies can get to you and stab you, or the police shoot you, or you got to handle your candle hella fast. So I just practiced for that. I got good. I got real good.
Okay, now I think at some point you got in a fight with some guy, and you actually ended up killing him. Is that something you could talk about, or do you want me to take that out?
Well,
You got conflict. You get.
no, I'll speak about it. You know what I mean? Because that's what changed my perspective on fighting. I used to think that fighting, okay, you got a problem with somebody, you get in with them, and somebody, we both get knotted up, nobody dies. You know what I mean? That's how you handle your business. And I started hunting bullies, and I thought I was justified in what I was doing. And this particular individual, man, this was a big boy, man. I seen him perform, man. He was accurate, and he was man, this dude was like 6'5", man. He was a distance fighter, like, you know what I mean? And I seen him tip a couple of people up, but he was a bully. And I didn't like this dude, man, because he was picking on people whom I did like, people who I was cool with. And I knew he couldn't fade me, but I didn't have no justifiable reason to really get with his program. And what happened was they called me for early release, COVID release. And I told one just one. And that dude told whoever else he told, and I was literally waiting in the phone line to tell my family, hey, I'm coming home in 1 week. And dude came behind me and slapped my hand down. And I turned around, man, and we exchanged words. So I'm like, what the f? And he hiked up his pants, he fired on me. And I whooped it. I only hit him with 6 punches, man. And I didn't stomp this man. I didn't stab this man. It was only 6 punches. And he around and died, man, and it broke my heart because I wasn't trying to kill him. I just only hit him right here. I wasn't trying to kill him, you know what I mean? And imagine doing 10 years for something you didn't do. I really didn't do it. Like, And they said I robbed a girl for a cell phone. Now, I didn't rob her. It was my phone. I fired her because she was weird. And I wanted my phone back. And when she gave it to me, when I left, she called the police and said I robbed her for it. I really didn't. I would tell you if I did. You know what I mean?
Right. So you're in jail for that you didn't even do.
Didn't do. That's the hardest time.
You get into it with this guy. This is a Crip dude too?
He was, yeah.
Crip dude. And you guys get into it over really something sounds so petty. A phone. No. In prison, it's really a big deal.
It is, but it wasn't even about the phone. What it was this dude had life without.
Oh, okay.
And he had robbery, murder. I didn't know that. You know, motherfuckers like that, they don't be telling everybody. And in prison now, they have this thing called 50-50. It's non-designated. So when they make you take psych meds because you didn't smoke some sherm and went crazy, and they make you part of a mental health program, when they started mixing SMYs and active people together, you don't know who the is who. You know what I mean? And long story short, this dude was, he was a bad man. You know what I mean? But
so do you know where you hit him that hurt him the most, or like how? I mean, 6 punches. I mean, that just sounds. I mean, that sounds so crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? Do you know, like, did you hit him in a specific area that it just had a big effect on him?
Yeah. So he had what's called an arachnoid hemorrhaging. And because in my mind, like, I wanted to fight this dude before he found out that I was going home, and he never was. And he was trying to off my date. And when he fired my shit up, I had already wanted to fight this dude, but I was just surprised that he came and fired on me right when he found out I was going home. And I only hit him here because in my mind I'm like, man, I'm gonna knock your teeth out. So when you get up and when we go to the hole. Now that my date off, you go to the hole, he go to the hole. When you get out the hole, he ain't gonna have his teeth. Every time he go to smile or talk to somebody, he would know that it was me. And only hitting here, I didn't mean to, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't know, and it crushed his, and it put pressure on his brain, and he passed away.
So here or the nose? Was it the nose?
It was his mouth.
It was his mouth, and you hit him so hard that it pushed against his brain. Damn.
His face kind of his face caved in a little bit there.
Oh.
And I didn't even know I could do that. You know what I mean? I didn't intend to do that. And man, with me, because he deserved whooping, but he for sure didn't deserve to die. And it's not for me to, to say who live or die. You know what I mean? And imagine doing all this time for some shit you didn't do, and then getting right to the finish line. I was excited about life going home. I had gotten married. You know what I mean? Me and my wife had got a little home that we was about to start a family, and then right when I was supposed to go home, man, I caught a murder, and somebody said that it was over some gay. I ain't never seen no gay in prison, but when the DA caught wind of that, they tried to give me capital murder, and I fought the death penalty. And imagine fighting the death penalty for a fist fight. You know what I mean? And
right, at worst, that's a manslaughter.
Well, that's what it wound up being in the end. But when they charge you, initially they're always going to start at the top. And in my mind, I'm like, well, whatever it is, I got multiple strikes. I'm not going home. But it's different when you fight life. I fought life 3 times. But when you fighting death, oh no. Like, I ain't gonna lie. I was in solitary confinement for 3.5 years. And
after that fight?
Yeah, because I mean, they looked at it like, okay, well, this man can kill with his bare hands. Why, I wouldn't put me around some other dudes. I understood. But it was crushing to me because to be by yourself for 3.5 years after doing 10 years for something you really didn't do, only to catch a death penalty case a week before you're supposed to go home, and like my wife left me or my girlfriends left me. I had my family here and there, but they was just looking at it like, well, nigga, everybody thought I meant to do it. Like they thought I liked it in there. They thought I wanted to be in there. You know what I mean? I just wanted to equalize something. I just wanted him to stop picking on people. That's all I wanted. And I didn't mean to give him that much, man. And man.
Okay, so you go to solitary confinement for 3.5 years. You're fighting the death penalty, and how do you get it reduced to manslaughter? And how much time do you end up getting?
Well, it turned out that because he had those weird crimes, the DA dropped it because it would have been hard for the DA to go to trial and say, oh, well, this dude who's there for robbery, murder, picked on this 5'9" dude who was a week to the house, a published author. You know what I mean? Like, I was, I was a nice guy looking at him, and this is a big boy, and he's in there for robbery, murder. And the DA wound up dropping it based off of that because I didn't have no knife, no weapon, and I really didn't have no intent to kill. So that's pretty much what dropped it down. But I was praying for life. I wanted a life sentence. I wanted to just say, don't kill me, don't hold me down. Because even though they don't have the death penalty in California, they still give people the death penalty. You know what I mean? Like basically, they don't enact it, but they give death sentences to people all the time, and then they'll stick your ass on death row, and you'll just be on death row until the voters decide to reenact the death penalty and bring it back, and then you got to hit the chair. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's very realistic, you know what I mean? And like I said, I didn't do the crime that I was there for, and I didn't intend to do that to him. And in the end, his mother had the ability to say yes or no about me going home. And
sorry. How much time did you end up getting for the manslaughter?
I got 6 years with half, so 3 years.
6 years with half. Okay, and now are you up for parole? How does the mom get to decide it?
Well, when I was in court, they offered me this time after 3 years, and nobody thought that I would ever come home. I never thought that I would come home. And, basically, when the DA finally decided, like, okay, man, because I really didn't, and man, they knew I was crushed, man. Like, man, I can't lie, I was thugging like a motherfucker, but I'll be crying all the time in the tank, to have your family hear death penalty, man, it crushes a man, you know what I'm saying? So his mom had the ability to say, okay, I want him to be prosecuted, you know what I mean? Like, I want justice for my son. And she decided not to, and she allowed me to come home, and I'm very thankful to her. And if I could talk to her, I would want her to know that I'm really sorry. I didn't mean that. I was just defending myself. You know what I mean? And I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to, my guy. But it f***ed me all the time because, man, it's different when you intend something, you do something like that though, and to crush somebody's face. You know what I mean? I didn't think that I could do something like that. You know what I mean? It made me feel like a monster. I was mad at myself. I hated myself, and the guilt from that is crushing still to this day. You know what I'm saying? I really have a hard time sleeping. Even though I'm a bouncer, I'm good at fighting, but I'm afraid to fight, not for myself. I'm afraid I'll kill them. You know what I mean? Like, I'm afraid for them. It used to be I was afraid for me. That's why I would win. But now I'm afraid for them, and I don't never want to hurt nobody like that again. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want God to be upset with me about nothing. I'm trying to just raise my family and, you know, do the right thing, man. And, you know, I want people to understand and know that, you know, what made me who I am was the fact that I was a f up and I was real good at it. I was like a criminal mastermind, you know, but in the end, I always had integrity and morality and spirituality, which is what's crazy about it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, you'll rob a house, but you'll walk an old lady across the street, or, you know what I mean? Like, I was really a nice guy. It was just, I thought that being a thug and, you know, with the rah-rah, I thought that I interpreted that as power. You know what I mean? And that is just not the case. You know what I'm saying? Like, people think that if you're a nice guy that you weak. You know what I mean? Like, you know, if I wear my glasses or if I'm light-skinned or, you know what I mean? Or if I don't talk the same way as them, then that makes me weak in their mind. But to be kind is a strength. It's not a weakness. You know what I mean?
All right. Now, you do 13 years in prison after the manslaughter?
No, so the first one was the assault. That was
Right,
2 years. Then the car chase and crash in the Wiener Schnitzel was 8 years. And then the robbery that didn't never happen was 10 years. And then the manslaughter was an additional 3 years.
Okay.
So you do the math. I have more than half my life in there. So
Yeah.
But I did a lot of good when I was in there, man. I mean, I wrote a book on Amazon. Check me out, you know, Convict Fit. You know what I mean? Surprisingly, it's pretty popular in Russia for some other reason. I have no idea why, but whatever. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, published author. Man, they was on me about that. Man, they was like really upset about that. Like very upset.
Who was upset?
They have like a special. They're called gooners. They're like a special type of correctional officers who are like a SWAT team in prison, and it's their job to stop motherfuckers with phones and drugs and all that. And for me to use my phone to take pictures of exercises and actually publish a book, man, it was like a slap in the face to them because I'm not supposed to have a phone. You know what I mean? How the f are you writing books and taking pictures? You know what I mean? You know, it's pretty much like I put them on blast, so they was on me. So, but.
So did you get out of the hole? Like, how much time did you do in the hole? And then that's when you wrote the book, when you got out of the hole?
No, well, actually, at the time, I wrote the book. This was before the manslaughter. I was going from prison to prison to prison because how it works is if you squabble somebody down, if you somebody up or whatever, your points go up, and then your custody level goes up, and you have to leave from that level to a higher level and higher and higher and higher. And yeah, that's what it was. And I would go to one place and to another place and another place, and I just always had my transcripts, and I would just send pictures of the exercises to my Gmail, and then they'll run in and get the phone, but they can't get the Gmail. You know what I mean? So I would just take pictures at Solidad and CRC and CMC and Centinela and you know, and I compiled it. And finally, when I had enough material, I just Googled self-publishing company, and I popped up with a publication company, and I just sent them the materials and paid them the money, and they produced the book. And
that's pretty awesome. Okay.
Yeah, it's part of my legacy, man. You know what I mean? I figured if I'm gonna die, at least I'm gonna die, then somebody will know my name somewhere. You know what I mean? So yeah, I did that though. But You
So
know?
now you said you had a lot of issues with like skinheads on the outside. Did you
Well,
ever get into it with the white dudes in prison?
um, you know what, man? I'm gonna keep it 100, man. White boys, in prison, man, they get it in there. Like white boys are no joke. You know what I mean? They ain't no joke on the street. You know what I mean? But like when they go to get somebody, they get them. They get them. You know what I mean? They get them. They're actually responsible for more deaths in prison than any other, and they're the smallest group. You know what I mean? It's like, man, they, you know, like I used to hate them, but you know, I found out that, you know, when you paying attention to them, if you busy hating them, you ain't pouring enough love into yourself. And like I said, I don't hate myself, so, you know, and I done met a couple of them that was cool. You know what I mean? They was actually cool. You know what I mean? So that's how they was brought up, and that's their beliefs. And I had my beliefs, and they were similar in a certain aspect, but I used to think that I was a black supremacist, but man, I never felt supreme over anybody. I never wanted to act or think I was better than anybody. Then I wanted to be a separatist, but I love Mexican girls and Asian girls and all girls. You know what I'm saying? So why would I separate myself from all the rainbow? All that, you know what I mean? So hell no. You know, so yeah, I just evolved. I grew up out of all that. You know what I mean? It's like I grew up.
Growing up having issues with the skinheads, did you ever hate that white part of yourself?
Oh no, absolutely not, because that's what made me fly for one. Being cut breed or being mixed it made me popular to have a lot of girls like me. But when girls like you, dudes want to fight you. You know what I mean? That's part of the reason why I was being oppressed. You know what I mean? But no, I never hated that part of myself, because my mom is essentially a white girl. Looks like a real white woman. You know what I mean? So it's kind of silly to hate white people if you wake up to one and call her mom and she's making you breakfast, or, I mean, like, it just didn't make no sense to me in the end. And I changed. I grew. I had to accept the fact that when I found out I was part German, oh, I was like, what? You know, my grandmother was a French German, and yeah. So hell no, hell no, I don't hate myself or white people. I thought that I just hated people who hated me at the time, and it turns out that my own people hate me more than skinheads sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, it's mostly you have more problems with people from your own tribe most times. Not all the time, but most times. But I don't hate them either. I just suck a duck and dummy dodge, straight up. Like, I stay away from them for their safety, not mine. You know what I mean? But that's hard to do as a bouncer, real hard to do. But it makes me good at it because, I don't know, it's like they could sense that I could whoop, and that's what keeps me from whooping. You know what I mean? And I've only had one fight since I've been doing this bouncer in 2 years. I mean, I done wrapped a gang of people up, but I ain't had to really actually harm anybody like from the shoulders until recently. And dude fired my up. I ain't gonna lie, man. He fired it was a good one too. You know what I mean? Rung my bell, and I lost it, and I went into combat mode. And when I knocked him out, and I went to do the same thing, it was the same punch pattern that I used on old boy. And before I finished it, I stopped. And my heart felt like it dropped out of the back of my. I was like, oh no, and I stopped, and he didn't die. You know what I mean? Because I have the wisdom of the pain that I caused this young man's family and my family, and like, I'm scared to fight people for them, not for me. You know what I mean?
Why be a bouncer when you might have
Um,
to be in these conflicts? Why not just find a different job
Mm-hmm.
that is not that combative?
You know what's crazy about that? My pastor asked me that all the time. Well, because I guess I have a demeanor that just, I guess I'm good with crowds. My communication skills are up to par. I know how to articulate myself with stern respect because I've been politicking for a long time. You know what I mean? I'm diplomatic, I guess. But I was a trainer at a gym, and I'm pretty good at that. I'm actually, that's what I'm really truly talented at, is just when you're a trainer at a gym, they make you sell a whole bunch of fucking supplements that you don't even use yourself. You know what I mean? And it's your job to manipulate motherfuckers into paying for that they don't even need. And then the gym takes the lion's share of that money. And I felt like I was being pimped on. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah, what? You know what I mean? So I can do it individually, and I do it online. Pharaoh Fit, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I do online. But I really want my own gym, because doing it online is it's impersonal. You know what I mean? I'd rather be there with someone, so I need my own space to do so. So that's what it is. You know, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it though. My pastor, he believed in me, and he's been, you know, a huge supporter. You know what I mean? Like, you know, helped me get all kinds of certifications from fitness and nutrition and CPR. All I need to be successful in that. It's just I'm good at combat. You know what I mean? Even though I'm not utilizing my skills, it's just people, they just know. And I don't be telling people that. I really don't like to talk about it, because I don't want people to think that I glorify that. But there's an opportunity for me to let people know what it is, and let these youngsters know, like, man, don't think that it's cool to do this, because reality is you think that it never will happen to you until it does. And when it do, it's crushing. You know what I mean? It's crushing. Like, it broke apart. It humbled me in a way that I've never been humbled before. You know what I mean? I thought I was the, you know what I mean? I'm squabbling down, like, you know what I mean? I was making money. I'm an author. You know what I'm saying? I thought I was, man, and God humbled me. You know what I mean? And it wasn't from a fight that I lost. It was from a fight that I won. And I wind up winning that fight, but losing my life. And he lost his, and it changed me. It changed me. So, I mean, I taught my homie Bleep, I taught him how to box while I was in there. And man, that came home, became a professional fighter, man. First fight, Madison Square Garden. Made me proud, man. When I came home, that nigga, he gave me a BMW X5, man. I was like, yeah, it's my guy. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I know the science of it. It's just, I don't really, I don't utilize it. You know what I mean? I don't utilize it. Like, that's not what I want to do. You know what I mean?
It's the science of fighting.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, sir. But knowing the science is what made me dangerous. But knowing the situation is what made me humble and what made me calm, because if that had never happened to me, I would have never chilled out. I would have came home thinking I was still that, you know what I mean? And
So you were telling me about some homies that you had from when you were kids that are doing a lot of time now.
Yeah, that would be the twins.
Twins. So it's one guy and one girl?
Actually, there's two sets of twins. Yeah, they look, all of them look just alike too. It's crazy. And they all got life.
So you were talking about 4 people.
4 people, but they're not twins in the sense of they're 2 separate groups of them. Like,
2 separate groups of twins.
Yeah, they're a boy and a girl, and then their younger boy and a girl. You know what I mean? And
both the sets is a boy and a girl.
Mm-hmm. And they ain't playing. They put in work in a way. But
Now how'd you meet these guys?
I used to still.
Are they brothers and sisters, or
Yeah.
okay? So it's four brothers and sisters.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just so we okay.
I used to steal cars with their older brother. He's not a twin, but he's in prison right now too, for allegedly. I guess he allegedly doing some type of robbery where somebody was supposedly killed or something like that. But they with is basically is what I'm saying. I don't know what they did or didn't do, but I know that their cases and their family is they use them as an example of to say, look at how dangerous these motherfuckers are. You know what I mean? And they're actually really nice people. They're actually, man, I love my homegirl Jessica. I love my homeboy Jesse. I met them when they were 12. And I started taking them shooting and, just hanging out with them. They were kids. I was a teenager. I was a kid. But I didn't know that they was going to grow up and get cracking like that. If they got cracking, I should say, for the record. But I asked them about this interview, and they suggested that I do my thing. That I'll speak up to let people know what I think and where I come from and what happened, what's the truth. And I was surprised to hear him say that. But one of the twins in particular, he's actually in prison for something that he didn't do this time. And, shout out to my boy HB.
Okay, so two of them are looking at the death penalty?
No, they're not looking at it because to get the death penalty, you have to have like a special circumstances. Like you have to kill somebody for money or because they're gay or black or like a hate crime type. But when you just gangbang and you kill somebody, that's just a first degree murder. It's different. It's like impersonal. But if you kill somebody for money, that's what makes it different. But they all have life sentences for murder.
Okay, and I think you said one of them or some of them have multiple. Has been arrested for multiple bodies?
Well, allegedly, Jessica allegedly killed 3 dudes allegedly. And they utilize her case to say, like, look at this, how dangerous the females are. You know what I mean? Like, look at what the females can do. Imagine what the dudes are doing. You know what I mean? And, she's a solid person. I remember when she was a kid.
So, I'm sorry, hold on, real quick. 3 people, was this like at one time or these were like 3 different occasions?
It's actually 4 people. So it's
4 people.
2 sets of Crystal and Christopher, Jesse and Jessica, and then Michael. Well, 5 people, I'm sorry. And yeah.
They're all on the same case?
Mm-mm.
No, they're all on a bunch of different cases.
Separate.
Okay, so Jessica. Let's stick to Jessica then.
Mm-hmm.
She got 3 bodies
allegedly. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and were these all alleged supposed to be like rival gang members, I take it? Allegedly. Right. Okay, so and these are people you grew up with. So growing up with these guys, man, I mean that's a pretty serious thing, knowing all these people doing all these life sentences.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, especially when you love them. I love them. They are good people. You know what I mean? But that's subjective. You know what I mean? Like, to the people who passed away, their families don't think that about them. But I know these people, they're good people. You know what I mean? Like, your past don't define you. You know what I mean? It's what you do in your present. You know what I mean? Because especially my boy, HB, Jesse has grown so much, you know what I mean? And he is, very influential still in the world, you should say. Like allegedly, you know what I mean? He may know a few people here and there, and he has the same mind frame I have now. He does not want no problems for none of us. He works really hard to deter my young homies from doing bullshit. You know what I mean? And getting in trouble and following him, because he's actually in jail and he didn't do it this time or any other time, for the record. You know what I'm saying? But it must really fucking suck to be doing a life sentence for something you really didn't do. And I know how that feels. So, you know, shout out to my boy HB, love your life, my guy, you know, and I'm gonna do what I can to try to help him get out one day, you know what I mean? God freed me. I don't see why he couldn't free him or any of the rest of them, so, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Straight up.
Okay. Well, man, I really appreciate you.
Man, likewise, man. Likewise.
Taking the time, man. You got a really interesting story.
Yeah, man. Well, hopefully I covered everything, you know what I mean? There's so much other shit, but you know what I mean? Like, time is money. I gotta go to work, you gotta go to work, but I appreciate the platform, my guy, and man, you know, anybody out there wants some training, Pharaoh Fit, buy the book, Convict Fit on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Walmart. Support the cause, you know what I mean? Keep me out of jail, because I don't want to rob no banks, I don't want to sell no dope. You feel me? I don't want no problems with no type of nothing no more. But man, thank you for the opportunity, my guy.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thank you. What's up? This is Cam Capone. We got more content like this coming soon, so hit that like button, subscribe, and stay locked in to Cam Capone News.